The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
What you listening to, man? What they talking about? I got my hand up on that knob, tryna figure out. It doesn't matter who's the guest or what's the subject, cause they keep it 100 and them callers love it. The radio show got you tuned in, ready for action like a bad chick texting what's happening. They ain't here giving 5 o'clock news. Our hosts keep it blunt, sharing their point of views. They going in, man, cause they ain't got no filter. Cause they keep it 100, that's why we messing with you. Got you up to date with the latest with music and what's trending, that's basics. On primetime hours, you can never go wrong. And your night music and what's going on in your neck of the woods, like, hey, Al Roke on today's light. Feeling entertained with the radio show. Tuesday, Thursday, taking over, let them know. Let them telephone rings, yeah, I'm on this thing.
All right, so one of the things I want to talk about is how, like, there's no gentleman's code apparently with Irv Gotti, and he's still hurt that Ashanti isn't checking for him or wasn't checking for him. And I don't know if you saw the interview on Drink Champs, but he basically was going in on Ashanti. She doesn't bother anybody. And then what was more disturbing was that her brother, Ja Rule, just stood by and watched Irv Gotti be very disrespectful to Ashanti. So you guys just take a look and, listen to this and see, how you feel about it.
I can get past you wanting to be with Nelly. Listen, at the time it happens, any man,
yeah, of course,
is hurt.
Yeah, right.
The chick you fucking are in love with is with this nigga. You wanna hear how I found out? I was at home. Listen to this shit. This is God wanted me to find out. I was at home. NBA package. I like watching sports. Oh my God, what's this commotion going on in the stadium? We just found out what the commotion is. Nelly has walked in with Ashanti. Because here's what I suggest happened. She went in the studio and tried to redo Baby, Baby, Baby. She probably went in the studio, tried to recreate this, and fell drastically short. With people saying that don't sound like the what they did.
Yes.
I need my stems. You know what stems are.
Yes.
So you want me to give you the stems of your whole album now after 20 years? So you're saying you need it for shows.
Right.
You want to take my stems and now you're going to fucking be able to remake your album. Oh, I still eat off of it because I own the publishing.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay?
Yes.
And let me, when she be on the shows and she's like, I'm going to spritz it up and jazz it up. Is this the camera?
Yes.
Ashanti, you cannot spritz it up. You cannot jazz it up. The minute you put some spritzy and jazz it up, it's not a cover. So when it's not a cover, now it has to come back to me to clear it. If you change anything, it reverts back to the writers to clear it.
Wow.
Let me just give you the answer now. No.
So you guys saw that, right? So 2 things that are a problem here. We're all tight, right? There's no way, I don't care who I'm around or with or whatever, especially because you guys are brothers, like, you guys would definitely never sit and let someone else be extremely disrespectful to the other one. Like, you could say something about your brother, but that doesn't mean you're gonna let someone else sit over here and call him out his name.
Yeah. Like I can call my brother an asshole, but nobody else can call him an asshole because he's my asshole.
Exactly. He's your asshole. So that's why a lot of people, and I just feel like we're all cool. Like, I give 16 a hard time but I'll be damned if someone else that I don't really know is going to give him a hard time. Absolutely not. I would shut the whole interview down and be like, hey, listen, I mean, you're gonna have to chill out with all of that. And if you can't chill out, interview over, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Ja Rule had the audacity to say that he doesn't get into grown folks' business. And I'm like, dude, it wasn't about getting into grown folks' business. It's just like, as a culture, there used to be like a respect code for women. It's like, you're coming at her about stuff that's like 20 years old and you were married at the time anyway. So it's like, why did you feel the need to call her a bitch though? And my thing is, I've seen gentlemen stop another man and say, listen, you can continue your story, but you don't need to call her out her name. She's not even that kind of woman. She's doesn't even carry herself like that, right? So let me ask you, do you feel like, since Ja Rule says he rock with her so hard, do you feel like there is a responsibility, if you're that supposed to be that tight with someone, that you're supposed to stick up for them when someone is disrespecting them? Like, do you think Ja Rule should have asked Irv Gotti to stop calling Ashanti out of her name? Like, do you think he was right or wrong for that?
Well, it's a couple things with that, Diva. Let's concentrate first on your question, but then I'm gonna lead to something else that. So should Ja Rule have stepped in if he's disrespecting her and they're cool like that? The answer is yeah, he should. If they're like you just said, you know, yes, you and I, we have our spats with each other, but that's between us because we're close like that. But I'm not gonna stand for anybody else saying that to you. Like, hey, you, just like you said, you're gonna have to calm that down, you know, because regardless of what's going on, that's still my people, and you're not just gonna talk to her like that. I understand y'all got y'all thing, but you know, she and I are cool, so you might have to, you know, pump the brakes on the stuff that you're saying. And plus, it's old; it's 20 years ago. The other half of that we haven't discussed is that, and I'll be the first one to admit, men can have a real ego trip when it comes to women, because we feel like when we've been with y'all, for whatever reason, we feel like you stop breathing the moment we stop dealing with you, and how dare you continue on with life, breathing and living without me around. And that seems like what he's dealing with. Like Ashanti out there doing her thing, you know, she just got a star on the Walk of Fame, you know, she's doing fine for herself, you know, and he's like, wait a minute, what about me? I mean, you're supposed to still care about me. I'm Irv Gotti. You gotta love on me. What are you doing? What? And a lot of guys can't deal with that. They feel like the sun rises and sets on their ass, and that no man could compare to them ever. So it's like he's dealing with that syndrome. Like, bro, she's moved on and forward. And as a matter of fact, was anybody even talking about Irv Gotti before all this? I mean, this is 2022, right? Not 2002, right? I'm just checking. So there's part of the problem right there. So I'm just putting that out there, that he's having a little bit of a male ego problem, that she's not fainting because, you know, she ain't sweating him no more. There you have it.
Yeah, dang. I think, you know, to answer the first part of your question, yeah, if he say, oh yeah, that's my little sis and we rock together and this and this and that, if he ain't say nothing, then yeah, that's foul on his part. You know, like he should have said something, or kind of should have stepped in, or, you know, something. And I think to the other point with Irv Gotti, like, we all know who Ashanti is. We've seen her. She still looks great at 40, whatever. Yeah, if I used to mess around with Ashanti, or we used to be a thing, and I'm not with her no more, yeah, I'm gonna feel some type of way too. And that's what that is. That's some good old, man, I messed up, or I really wish I would have did XYZ to keep her. He just missed her. That's what that is. And I don't blame him. I would miss her too if I had her and now I don't have her no more. Like, yeah, I'd be right there with you, drinking a bunch of drinks with a bunch of guys and talking about, man, yeah, we used to mess around and this and that, you know, shit. I'd be talking some shit too, but you know, that's whack on his part. He really should have just, you know, like you said, he didn't have to say all them other words and name calling and all this other stuff. He could have just kept it at, you know, hey, we had our time together. I wish her the best. I hope she's doing well, whatever.
I'm just like, aren't you like 60? Like, why are you being disrespectful and still calling women out of their name? I mean, have you seen him? He looks 60. Like, I mean, when he was dealing with her, I think she was like 20 in her early 20s. Like, I don't think she was even 25. And she was just like, I don't want to do this no more. And the thing that was funny to me and that she threw up some kind of sign and was like, I'm done. Like, you know. And
That's
I
one
was
thing
like,
too.
dang.
That's one thing too. When a woman is done with you, when they've reached that point, they done with you, dog. Because Lord knows they've given you plenty of chances, or made a bunch of excuses for you. But once they done with you for good, man, it's over with.
Yeah, dudes don't be listening to the signs, man, because she been telling you, she been dropping little breadcrumbs along the way to let you know, hey, in a minute, this is about to be a wrap. But I don't understand the need to bring this up right now. Like, was he like flipping the channels and like one of the videos came on? He was like, man, that used to be me,
I think the question came up because, Ashanti could not get her master's, I don't believe, from him. So she was redoing all of her songs in order to get the rights to her songs. And he was like, no, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Like, whatever she does, I'm not going to clear anything for her to be able to own her stuff. And it's like, once again,
man, that's petty, man.
Super freaking petty, and you just look really ignorant and like.
But even that's the case, like if that's what it was, right? Just leave it at that. You ain't got to bring up your relationship or any of this other stuff.
And you just mad because she really didn't try to claim you in these streets, bruh. And you had the audacity to be like, oh, she's not the reason my wife and I divorced. There was other women that were the reason that me and my wife divorced. And I'm like, bro, that's not any better. Like, you just said that you're basically like, why would a woman who positions herself as a classy woman, like, one, be seen with you in the streets and associate with you in the streets, and two, why would she want to be connected to you when you're out here for the streets, literally being a male whore, causing problems in your own relationship and your marriage, and then you think she wants to be connected to that?
So is that where this whole thing came out, was the fact that she wanted to get her master's and he's being paid? Like, why 20 years later is this a new subject? Because if we want to rank culturally relevant right at this point, Ashanti is light years ahead of where Irv Gotti has going on, and I don't understand.
The interviewer asked a question. I'll say, oh, okay. So the reason that Irv Gotti even got into this conversation with Ashanti is because Noriega asked him a question on the show, like, how do you feel about like Ashanti and her records? And he just kind of asked him about that whole situation. And then that's when, he went off and started acting like a little bitch.
Yeah. You'll never see a dude sicker in life than when he has somebody good and she's not around no more. It's the most pitiful thing because the male ego just cannot handle it. And for him in his mind, with him being an alpha male, like, Easy, about this, bro, and you can speak to this when it comes to athletes. The sport athlete who is not in his prime anymore is the last one to know. We can see you watched on TV from a mile away, but in his head, like, I hate to use this dude as an example, but I'm gonna. Russell Westbrook, he done, bro, he done, and he the last one to know it. He don't know, and he's done. And like Irv Gotti still living in his head like it's 2000 or 2001 when Ja Rule was ruling the airwaves. You're not relevant in music like that anymore. And it's just the case. And, for somebody like me, he's like, well, who are you to say that? What have you done or whatever? I'm like, seem like we're on pretty equal footing right now at this point. So I'm just saying, what's the point of even, I understand Nori asked the question, but you could be a man about it and just like no sell that. Like, oh, it's not a big deal. She won her master's, and you could have just been a man and be like, I don't have no problem with her having it. It's all good, instead of being petty, like,
But that would require him to have character, and he don't have character if you out here talking about an affair that you had with a woman, not to mentioning the other affairs you had on your wife. I believe he was married allegedly at the time. So you coming out talking about Ashanti during this time, you had a whole wife, dude. So that's disrespectful in itself. You're crying about a chick when you were married. Like, I can't imagine how his wife feels that he's going on and on about someone that he wasn't even supposed to be having any kind of romantic feelings with.
That part too. But I'm sorry I have to do this again. But we're talking about Ashanti. Look at the screen. We're talking about Ashanti here. Okay.
You know what? I always said, like, if I was in a relationship and I got cheated on with someone who looked amazing, I would have to be like, I see how you did that. Women actually want to say, I see how you did that. But most men cheat down. So you'd be like, you did that? Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah, but you got
if it was Ashanti, I'd be like, damn.
There's a bro code side of it too, though, right? Like,
really?
Like,
enlighten us.
So, for example, like if you mess around with somebody of Ashanti's caliber, right?
Right.
And she says, hey, you can't tell nobody about this, or we're done. We're not doing this anymore. You gotta shut your ass up. You got one or two homies that you can tell that you know ain't gonna say nothing, and that's it.
Fact.
I ain't tell nobody. She said nobody, it means nobody. Bro, I wouldn't even tell you, dog.
That's what I'm saying. At max, you might tell a homie or two that you know ain't gonna say nothing. But my point is, there's a bro code side of it too. Like, I guess my question is, why would you even say that? Like, obviously they don't mess around anymore. They're not together.
He was mad because, like, he even said, like, in one of the clips, and if we find it, we'll play it for you guys, where he was just basically like, she never claimed him. Like, she never made it public that
that hurt. Why you talking about that?
Bro, I would have never said nothing. But his pride and his ego, like, she looked good as hell. I think she's like over 40 now. Like,
that's what I'm saying. She's like at least 41. And I
don't get
she looked amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I've been out the game. I've been married for a long time, but I'm just saying, in my mature mind, I'm saying to myself, I seen her naked. I don't need the streets to know that. I know it, and that's enough.
Right.
That's enough.
That would require you to be mature a lot. And that's something else I think we could segue into, is that a lot of these rappers, like, I feel like have Peter Pan syndrome, where they never want to freaking grow up. And they always want to do this little kid shit forever. Like, I want to be a 23-year-old rapper forever. Like, just the way they dress, the way they act, the way they talk. It's so immature, the way they feel entitled, the way they feel like women really checking for them forever. Like, they all got a rude awakening. Like, literally, Irv, have you looked in the mirror? Like, you're old, dude. Like, old. Simmer down. Like,
if you're, you got to weigh it on a scale. You got to think about it for a second. Like, if you're a woman and Diva, you could answer to this. You could weigh it on a scale. Which one of them you gonna claim in public? Nelly or Irv Gotti? Let's weigh it on a scale.
Neither.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
Like I said, somebody just go out there and check on James Earl Jones and let me know if I need to Uber him some juice or some soup or something. I'm glad to do it.
Why you sending that man some juice like he can't eat solid food? Like, let me send him some juice.
Like he in a nursing home or something.
You're listening to The Radio Show on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right, so guys, it's been a minute since, we've all, most of us have been together, and it's so much has been happening in the last weeks and months. And one of them I wanted to just bring to the forefront is Brittney Griner, man. This whole thing has become, I'm sure, greater than what it should have been and could have been. And a lot of it's become political. You got, the people on the right saying, well, she was critical of the country and now she needs help. And then people on the other side are like, that shouldn't have anything to do with it. If she's out there, she need to be brought home. She's out there in Russia. We need to bring her home. It's some bull. And in case you don't know about the story, which at this point, how could you not? But, basically she was caught in Russia with some hemp oil, which over there, anything that has to do with that, I think it was hemp oil. Mm-hmm. It's illegal over there. And my whole thing with her being caught with that, she was saying she made a mistake. She accidentally packed it. I hate saying this, but in a situation where you're in a foreign country, where you know what the rules are, in a hurry, not in a hurry. She's not innocent of this. You know it's illegal over there. You know this. So some of that blame has to be bared by her. It's not like she just, they're holding her. She's innocent. She broke the rules in that country. And do I want her over there? Do any of us want her over there? No, not at all. But in the end, if you ask yourself, what did she do? She broke their rules. She did. And it's not political. Some of it has become political because, Biden has been sanctioning the hell out of Russia. And, you got people on the far right who are pissed off saying that, she's one of those people who don't respect the flag in America and just let her sit over there, which is some nonsense. But in the end, even though it's unfortunate, she broke their laws. And saying that you did it by mistake is not an excuse. Does she deserve 9 years? No. But you have to be more mindful of what you're doing. That's just my view. It might be unpopular, but it's not like they're holding an innocent person over there based on the rules of where she is. Yeah. Am I wrong? Let me know if I'm wrong, bro.
You're not. I mean, yeah, is the situation unfortunate? Absolutely. But I think you hit the point, which is, she went overseas. She was playing basketball out there because she does that every year. So you go there every year. So you're immersed in the culture. You know the laws because you go there every season, every off season, if you will, and play. And Russia's got a lot of stuff going on. Their governments ran different. I'll leave it at that, right? So you got to really be like walking carefully. You got to move carefully out there. And, she's wrongfully detained. Technically, no. She broke the law. And, the laws there are very strict when it comes to this kind of instance. So she's in jail. Now, does she deserve 9 years in jail? No. If anything, she deserves like a
fine, a large fine.
A fine or something like that. So, that's where it gets tricky. But, I do agree with the part of, the U.S. government needs to do something about it. The people that are saying, oh, well, she doesn't stick up for the flag when she's here. Well, if you're American, you want all Americans to be home safe. It don't matter what they did or whatever the case may be. Like, she's not a terrorist. She plays basketball. She's an athlete. Yep. So, Joe Biden, do whatever you got to do to get her out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not a terrorist. She didn't, she did something wrong by their standard of the law, but she's not a bad person. And there's no reason for her to be stuck there, So, that's where I stand on it. And, there's some people that make the argument, well, if this was LeBron James, well, first of all, it's not LeBron James. So stop. Like, the NBA pays their players a really good salary to where they don't have to go overseas and, make X amount of dollars overseas. And, people make the argument, oh, well, the WNBA needs to pay their women more. Yeah, they could look into it, but it's a business. And the athletes are paid based on the revenues that the league makes. And no offense to the WNBA, but I don't see a bunch of people talking about the playoffs right now. They're literally in the playoffs right now.
Oh,
they're having their playoffs right now. Nobody's talking about it.
Breaking news.
If you had to guess, they might get 10,000 people, to watch their games. And that might be a generous number.
Diva, like, name 3 WNBA teams.
Oh, wow.
So much to say about this situation. So one, we all have a job to do, and I have certain things that will either be on my persons regularly or in my car regularly. However, when I go to work, I am required to double check certain things because I know I cannot go in the building with those things because that could cost me my job or cost me my, situation or whatever. So being a professional and traveling over somewhere multiple times, that there's really not an excuse on, to be very honest, to do something like that when you know you're
Yeah.
but listen, we all travel um a lot for different reasons. And I know for a fact that when I go into certain countries, I double check certain things that I bring because I don't want those problems and I know they don't play, you know? So even just going through PSA period, I know that once I'm in the airport, that's federal territory right there in itself. So I double check everything. Um, Long story short, this is like typically a power play. Honestly, there's no way she would regularly get 9 years. They gave her 9 years because they're hoping to trade her for someone they've been trying to get for a while. Um, Unfortunately, if you've never watched the show Locked Up Abroad, you learn that other countries really don't play with Americans about this kind of stuff. People have been locked up in Jamaica, people have been locked up in Costa Rica, they've been locked up in all of these countries for long periods of time for doing similar things. So it's not like she's the first person, unfortunately, to be locked up for something like that. But they definitely knew exactly who she was, and this was definitely a ploy to get a prisoner exchange. I think what she may have underestimated was that one, WNBA and NBA is on totally different levels, and she's not a bigger celebrity.
Yeah.
Two, LeBron James has gone overseas and played ball. Like I think, what didn't he play in the Olympics as well, and on some other teams? Sometimes, like, you can't say if it was LeBron James, it'd be different. Well, one, he's worth a lot more in business. Yeah, they would, but they also hold him to a higher standard where he would not be kind of like in this situation in the first place. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean,
So,
just to clarify that, you know, like Brittney Griner literally has to go play overseas because they pay the
right.
women so much more money overseas because I'm assuming it's just more popular overseas. Women's basketball is just more popular overseas, whereas LeBron has a choice if he wants to go play in the Olympics or if he wants to go
Exactly.
do an exhibition.
That's something he
time.
does for fun, I'm sure. He doesn't
Right,
have to,
right.
but
Like
he's that type
he
of
doesn't
player.
have to go. And I
No.
think you made another great point too. I've been in the airport and I messed around and I had my pocket knife on me, you know, like with my carry-on luggage. That TSA agent put up that knife like that, and I said, "Oh shit, my bad. I forgot to take that out." It's like, you know, I'm thinking like, "Damn, I'm about to get in trouble. They're about to book me. They're gonna think I was trying to stab somebody." And they were like, "Hey, you're gonna have to go check your bag, or you can just, we'll just confiscate." I said, "Look, you can have that shit." It was an awesome pocket knife, by the way. Really pissed about it, but
Keep that shit.
yeah, you can keep it. You best believe every time I pack a bag now, man, make sure no damn pocket knife in here. I
Listen,
own guns. I ain't trying to make
listen. I don't take my gun with me when I travel. I mean, but I always take my bag so I could, but I had to throw away, and this is such a diva moment, but it taught me a lesson. I had just bought like the most yummy perfume ever. And I didn't realize that you know me, of course I buy the 3.2. And they was just like, yeah, you're gonna have to throw that in the trash can. And those bastards watched me throw it in the trash can.
Yeah.
But you know what? I put it in my check bag. So actually, I just buy the gift set so I get the travel size. But you know what I mean? Yeah, you only need to get caught one time and lose something very precious for you to always double check your bags. Just saying.
Unfortunately, the precious thing that she lost in this instance was her freedom.
Yep.
I do feel bad for her because, well, she's not by herself. There's another American, a white man they've been trying to get back over here as well. This this brings light to a lot of things. I don't think people understand, but this happens to journalists all the time in other countries where honestly they're detained, and not only detained, they're unalived. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot in these countries by a simple mistake of asking the wrong question or getting caught recording or reporting something or just, you know what I mean? So it's not like I really wouldn't consider this like just they're not doing this for her. This happens to a lot of Americans, and unfortunately, I'm just glad that she's technically safe because so many Americans are not and they don't make it back. But that's why you just have to be even more careful when you go abroad. I definitely hope they're able to come to a consensus and bring her home without having to exchange her for the war criminal that we have. And why do we have a war criminal on our soil in the first place? That's creepy.
Well, I think it was one of those, USA things where we probably arrested him or captured him overseas and then brought him over, back to the States to try him in the States, whatever. But isn't that crazy though that like somebody like Brittney Griner, who's probably never shot anybody or, killed anybody a day in her life, right? I know she had that domestic situation with her wife, but overall, a good person. You're trading a good person for a damn war criminal. Like,
yeah, this is the political world we're living in, and
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
do any of you guys, do y'all do like New Year's resolutions? Because I feel like they're kind of stupid. But if there's something that you want to leave in this year and take into, they are stupid. At the gyms be packed the first month. I'm gonna give this up on the gym. Just give it up now. What do you gotta wait for the calendar to turn for? You need to lose them extra, 20 pounds. Don't start in January. You might want to start right now. Shit.
You're listening to the radio show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
One gotta go. We're gonna mess with some soul food this week. And we got 4 choices. Numero 4. One's gotta go. Fried fish, greens, baked mac and cheese, or fried chicken. One's gotta go. So fried fish, greens, baked mac and cheese, and fried chicken. And this one's courtesy of M16, so you can all cuss at him in the comments. Not to be that guy, but let me go ahead and just say it. Greens can get the fuck out of here. And I like greens. I think greens taste great. But if you told me I couldn't have any of these ever again, I wouldn't be as heartbroken about losing greens. Because I can still have some neck bones on the side. I can still have some, turkey necks, whatever. So, yeah, greens can get the fuck for me because I can still get cabbage or broccoli or something else.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Damn. Okay. Macaroni cheese is staying. We can't not have that. I don't really eat fried chicken like that, but I do like me some chicken tenders. That's the same, just different. I hate you so much right now, 16. However, most people F up collard greens. So it could go because, I make a really good cabbage. So, yeah, collard greens could go. I need everything else. So, damn.
So let me just slide this in here real fast that no matter who makes them, there's only but one way to enjoy cabbage, and that is right in the trash.
And this is why he wins picky eater all the time.
This is why he beats me.
16 is the only guy in the room where everybody will say, "Oh, I love this dish," or "I love this and that," and 16 will sit there in the corner and just go, "Yeah, fuck that."
But yeah, so for this one got to go here. So this is the rough one where there are no bad choices in this. They're all great, all of them. But I am in the agreement with the two of you that it's going to be, in this instance, greens. And I loves me some greens, man. I do. but they do have the tendency to be messed up by some people. They put too much vinegar in them, or they might be too leafy and chewy. You know, you can mess up them other ones, but there ain't no way in the world I would trade greens out to not eat fried catfish anymore, or to eat baked mac and cheese anymore, or to eat fried chicken anymore, and I'm gonna trade greens for that? Just like EZ said, you can eat you some neck bones and you ain't got to have the greens. You good to go. So I am good on greens being the one that has to go, even though it's still a great choice. But I ain't giving up mac and cheese, fried fish, or fried chicken for nobody. Give up your mama, but I ain't giving up none of them, okay? I'm telling you.
There's only one way to eat fried catfish, and that's in the trash. But we'll save that for another segment, okay?
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
Baked potato. Yeah, man. That's good.
I only like certain type of potatoes now, and baked is not one of them, so no.
All right.
Is it for like diet? Is it like because it's too much starch, or you just don't like the way it tastes?
I just don't like the way regular potatoes taste. I only like the red little ones now, and yeah, that's it. Yeah. Those aren't baked.
All right. Tomatoes.
Yes.
We already know the answer to this for me. Get that shit out of here, man.
But you eat spaghetti. Like, how do you eat spaghetti but you don't eat tomatoes?
You like fries, don't you? They come from potatoes and not the red ones that pick of it. Get out of here.
So
quick. So right now it's so quick. Right.
You're listening to The Radio Show on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
I need your guys' opinion on this article that was in Psychology Today. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's trending everywhere, and it's talking about how men out here, like single men out here, are lonelier than ever, having a hard time matching with women, and like they make up 63% of online dating, and that they're having a hard time because women's expectations are higher, and women, like, we're expecting better communication, better financial stability, and being able to kind of like be accountable and better dating. Yeah.
I'm confused.
You're confused?
I'm confused. So you said 63% are like single men or something. So you're gonna ask two married dudes on what single men have on their mind?
The fact that you guys aren't single, I was just thinking that maybe because the thing is this, like, these guys who are single have not quite evolved their thinking to match where women are with expectations these days. Since you guys are successfully off the market, what advice would you give these men who feel like they don't have to change anything, but are feeling entitled to acquire women? Like, what could they do differently to not be so single? Like, we're asking for effective communication. What would you rate learning if you're not good at communicating? How important is that in relationships? Because they obviously don't think it's important.
I would say one major thing is to definitely give the girl back her masters.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is. There
it is.
That's it.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to The Radio Show. There is only one radio show, and this is it.
You're listening to The Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right.
Well, we've come to that part of the show, you guys, where we're going to do what Diva does sometimes during the regular segment of the episode. It's time for random. And we're going to start with our best ranter, which is 16. What is on your mind this week?
I'm the best ranter. I thought you had taken that crown away from me because you've had a few of them. But, you know, I'm always working with something. So I'll wear that. At least for today, I'll wear it. Got a couple things on my mind here. So we'll start with this first one here. And this has been on my mind, and we didn't have a chance to really talk about it like in the moment. The whole, Will Smith, Chris Rock, that whole thing. And, I've been kind of contemplating what was going on with that. And in my view, I feel like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was actually good for his career, because I'm not trying to downplay what he's been for decades, but really, how many Chris Rock shows will be sold out if not for this? I mean, he told a lame ass joke about Will during one of his shows, calling Will, calling him like Suge Smith or some dumb shit like that. And I mean, the whole thing started over a lame ass G.I. Jane joke that most people would have to Google to figure out what the actual fuck he was talking about, because he mentioned a movie that's older than most of the people that was watching that.
That's me.
So I understand that. I'm just saying, Chris Rock is a legend in comedy, but that is for his past accomplishments and nothing to do now with his out of touch, stale act that happens today. So he should be very happy that Will Smith did smack him to make him relevant, and that's what I'm sticking to with that one. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm just saying, you know, he told an unfunny joke, it turned into a situation. He's telling unfunny jokes about the situation, and the only reason why people are showing up to his shows is because they want to see if he's going to talk about the slap, which he has not talked about, thus defeating the purpose. That's all I'm saying. So that might be unpopular, but I don't give a shit. It's how I feel. And the other part after that I wanted to get out here, and they brought it up while we were talking here, is that, guys, if you have to ask her where my hug is at, she doesn't want to hug you. That's all I got.
Oh,
damn.
Burn. Y'all are probably too young to know that phrase, but burn.
That's all I got.
Damn.
The barrel is empty.
Damn, I mean, I don't know if I can top that tonight. I'll try, but easy, what's on your mind?
Random, but you know, I really need Twitter to chill out with exposing all this nasty undercover stuff that used to be in cartoons that I watched growing up. Because first of all, like, what the writers was thinking? Like, obviously they got away with it because kids were watching it, but like, are y'all like on some predator? Like, this got me thinking about a lot of things. So I just wanted to get that out there.
You're not wrong. Twitter?
Oh yeah. There's like random clips every day, and it's like, hey, did you notice this in this episode of whatever? And it's like, yo, like, oh shit. Like,
this is why you have to watch TV with your kids, and this is why all cartoons are not for children. Yeah, that part. So my random is going to be kind of interesting. So we talked about the article from Psychology Today where men are kind of like a little tight about dating. One of the things that I would like to say is that single men who want to attract modern women, you got to get better with the marketing, bro. Like, y'all are trying to seduce us with chores. Like, you know, you don't lead with that. Like, when you want to get a woman to be on your side, you need to go back and watch like OGs, like how they used to seduce women. It was like, girl, like, you know, let me take you on a trip. Like, let me do this. Can we just start with taking you out to dinner? Like, can we just go back to that sometimes? Because y'all are really over here in your feelings and you're mad because when you're like, women don't want to cook and clean no more. It's like, well, if you're leading with that, that's a chore. I don't find it attractive. Like, will we cook and clean in a marriage or relationship? Sure, we will. But anything in marketing, you usually like watch a commercial. They talk about the benefits of it. That's how they lure you in. Like, tell me something that I'm gonna enjoy about what you're gonna offer me before you sign me up to, you know, be proud to, you know, do domestic chores that, you know, make it more sexy, make it more attractive. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Don't seduce modern women with chores. We're probably going to dodge that. I'm just saying that part.
Hey, that's some real talk right there, Diva. That is some real talk that you can only get from ATL Diva, where she's saying, stop selling the incentive of, hey, you want to date me so you can cook and clean for me? Bring your ass on down over here and let's get a relationship. Said no girl ever.
Yeah, and to Diva's point, if they if they fuck with you heavy, they'll do that anyway without you having to ask.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
I love my wife. She's the apple of my eye. No one can tell you otherwise. I love my wife. She's the apple of my eye. No one can tell you otherwise.
I love my husband. I'm the apple of his eye. He damn sure better not say otherwise.
You're listening to the radio show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you're not already following us, and also hit the notification bell if you want to know that when we upload new videos. Also, if you want to find us on Instagram, it's the radio show. If you want to find us on Facebook, it's the radio show ATL. We're gonna put the links to our email and also our phone number if you want to text us in the description box below. Boop, boop, there you go. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
And it's funny. It's funny because like Raph's talking about another side of the bro code thing where it's like, just like women admit like, oh, she's beautiful, she's pretty, whatever the case may be. Like, there's some guys out here who be looking at other guys and they're like, it's not a bad looking guy. Like, I can't be mad that.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, damn, I get it. I got a buddy of mine. Easy and I joke about this. I'm not gonna say his name because he may not want it out there, but you know what I'm talking about, bro. He's a groomsman in my wedding. Yeah. And we were joking because it was like, okay, no disrespect. It's like, okay, so this is a beautiful man right here. Okay, women would want to date this guy, and it's just facts.
Listen, I totally actually respect when men say that. Like, it's not no funny stuff when another man can like not be prideful to be like, oh, I mean, he's a handsome gentleman, that fellow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's no shade. It's just like,
easy to tell you. Would it be hard pressed for you to believe that the guy that I'm talking about with he's married now, but I'm saying at the time that he'd have his pick of women? No, it wouldn't be. You want to take it's like a fusion between Omarion and I don't know who else, and Reggie Bush. If you fuse them together, that's what my friend looks like. So he was he wasn't wanting for much in the girl department.
Now that's a unicorn.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were at the wedding. I mean, homie looked like he just finished shooting like a damn Calvin Klein commercial or something. I'm like, yo, like, I'm glad I ain't got no girlfriend here, because he definitely would like snatch her up easy. Like,
yeah, because when we work together, wherever he moved, he go this way, and the girl's just right there with him. Like, all right, wherever you at is where I'm at.
Like, I will tell you this though, like, and this is what I think men need to understand about women. Like, if we're really into you, even like in you handling your mother freaking business, right? Even if it's like the finest model comes in, we gonna look at them and be like, oh, okay, they look good, but it's not enough to really move us emotionally. We're gonna be like, oh, okay, he attractive. That's as far as it goes a lot of times. I think men think that we just be ready to go jump off, but it's like not when we're emotionally connected to a dude and he really taking care of his business. Like, it's gonna be like, meh. You see, but you don't see, if that makes sense. I know it sounds crazy, but like, women really be getting tempted like all the time. We have a huge like core discipline about ourselves.
Diva, you're not breaking no news here. I mean, let's just keep it 100.
Let's talk about the new generation, and now that's a little different.
This is the best way. This is the best way I can put it. A dude, I mean, in most cases, he gonna try to get what he can get. But you, on the other hand, let's just keep it real, okay? You've been getting off of dick since the time you could walk around. So of course, you have your way of choosing in between it. Because everywhere you go, you can't go to the store, you can't go to the gas station, or walk outside your house without some dude trying to, get in your pants. Where's the lie?
There's no lie.